Get to know Sultan Iskandar Muda, a hero from Aceh who was persistent in fighting the Portuguese. Iskandar Muda was the king of Aceh who was known to be persistent in opposing the Portuguese presence in Malacca. During the reign of Sultan Iskandar Muda, the Portuguese attacked Aceh but failed. The Portuguese insisted on taking over and monopolizing the pepper trade in Aceh. Even though at that time, Sultan Iskandar Muda occupied the throne at a very young age, but was known to be very brave. He succeeded his predecessor Sultan Ali Riayat Saya, 1604–1607, who later became known as Sultan Muda. Sultan Iskandar Muda was born in Banda Aceh in 1539. His father was a descendant of Raja Mahkota Alam, while his mother was a descendant of Raja Darul Kalam. Since childhood his parents educated Sultan Iskandar Muda with knowledge of religion and leadership because one day he would inherit his father's throne. During the reign of Sultan Ali Riayat, Iskandar Muda was imprisoned because he opposed Sultan Ali's policies. Iskandar Muda saw that Sultan Ali was incompetent in dealing with robbery and the dangers of poverty suffered by the people of Aceh. Seeing the internal chaos that occurred during Sultan Ali's government, the Portuguese took advantage of Aceh's weak condition by preparing their fleet to attack Aceh. Seeing this condition, Iskandar Muda, who was being detained, sent a letter to Sultan Ali to offer help in leading an attack against the Portuguese. Sultan Ali Riayat apparently agreed to this request. Iskandar Muda's success in expelling the Portuguese from Aceh made him a popular figure as a candidate for the next Sultan of Aceh. On April 4, 1607, Sultan Ali died and Iskandar Muda was crowned the new Sultan of Aceh. Since his reign in 1907, the Sultanate of Aceh Darussalam has again experienced rapid development and reached a golden age due to carrying out conquest expeditions in the surrounding area. In 1612 Delhi was conquered, followed by Johor a year later. In 1614, Bintan was also conquered. Next, in succession, Pahang, 1618, Kedah, 1619, and Nias, 1624–1625, were defeated. This made the territory of the Aceh Sultanate under Sultan Iskandar Muda even wider. His territory covered most of the west coast and east coast of Sumatra. Kutaraja, which is now Banda Aceh, was a transit point that could connect trade to the Western world. At that time, Kutaraja was a landing place for foreign ships from abroad to buy pepper. That was the reign of Sultan Iskandar Muda, as quoted from the book The Most Complete Collection of Indonesian Heroes by Minawati, Encyclopedia of Complete History of Indonesia from the Classical Era to the Contemporary by Adi Sudirman, and Encyclopedia of Heroes, The Spirit of Heroes Who Pioneered Indonesian Independence by Artoto Sugiarto. The Portuguese, who had controlled Malacca since 1511, were the main enemy faced by Sultan Iskandar Muda. The presence of the Portuguese at that time also posed a threat to Aceh. The Portuguese also considered Aceh a threat to their trade monopoly. Therefore, the two were often involved in armed clashes. Portuguese ships sailing in the Malacca Strait often received attacks from the Acehnese fleet. From the beginning of his reign, Sultan Iskandar Muda intended to carry out confrontational politics to expel the Portuguese from Malacca as soon as possible. In fact, to strengthen his fleet, Sultan Iskandar Muda formed an army by bringing in trainers from abroad. Sultan Iskandar Muda's success was marked by the formation of the Aceh War Force. Apart from that, Sultan Iskandar Muda also did not tolerate kingdoms that had relations with the Portuguese, such as the Kingdom of Johor. Sultan Iskandar Muda's resistance was then demonstrated by making various regulations that had to be obeyed by all nations entering Aceh. With his military forces, Sultan Iskandar Muda did not hesitate to fight and crush foreign powers who wanted to seize his territory. In 1615, Aceh attacked the Portuguese in Malacca, but was not successful. Next, Aceh's biggest attack on Malacca occurred in 1629. The Acehnese troops at that time, consisting of 236 ships with 20,000 soldiers, fought against the Portuguese in Malacca and lasted a long time, causing casualties. However, later the attack was defeated due to weak supervision from external areas, the sea, so that many reinforcements came to the Portuguese, including from Pahang and Goa. After the second attack was unsuccessful, Sultan Iskandar Muda decided to stop the attack. He then focused his energy and thoughts on the prosperity of the people and Aceh. Sultan Iskandar Muda was also known to be clever in organizing his territory by dividing the kingdom based on their respective fields. In terms of the economy, Sultan Iskandar Muda also made regulations that guaranteed the welfare of the people in the fields of trade and industry. Mining, shipping, agriculture, and fisheries. One strategy was to make a rule that the only countries that could enter Aceh's territory were England and the Netherlands. That too, for a certain period of time, and must comply with the regulations in force in Aceh. Due to these various struggles, the Malacca Strait, which is controlled by Aceh, succeeded in becoming an international trade route to At that time. Aceh's export goods included rice, pepper, tin, gold, silver, and spices. Meanwhile, imported goods include cloth from the Coromandel, India, porcelain and silk, China and Japan, perfume from Europe and the Middle East, as explained in the book Traces of Heroes by J. W. Sudarmanto. Sultan Iskandar Muda died on December 27, 1636, at the age of 43. For his services to the state and people of Aceh, Sultan Iskandar Muda was awarded the title of National Hero based on the decree of the President of the Republic of Indonesia. Number 077/TK/1993. Apart from the title, the name Sultan Iskandar Muda is also immortalized as the name of Sultan Iskandar Muda International Airport in Aceh and the name of a street in several cities or regions in Indonesia.